Good morning, students. Today we will discuss about kinematics of optical absorption, that is Fugger-Landenberg formula. We know that when a beam of light is allowed to pass through an absorbing medium, let us say this is an absorbing medium. When a beam of light is allowed to pass through this absorbing medium, then this is the input intensity and the output intensity after passing through the absorbing medium. These two intensities will not be equals. This intensity, output intensity, will be less than the input intensity. Let us say at this intensity is I omega 0, that is, it is not passing through any thickness. This represents the thickness. If here is thickness 0, here is, let us say, Z. Now, after passing through the absorbing medium, its thickness will reduce. It depends on the how much absorbing power is of this medium. Now, this decrease in intensity, I will write it here, I omega Z. Now, this decrease in intensity of light, we know that when a beam of light is allowed to pass through an absorbing medium of thickness dz, then its intensity will reduce. Now, this decrease in intensity is proportional to how many factors? First factor is the thickness of the material. Let us say we have chosen small element of thickness dz, and second one is the intensity of incident beam. Let us say initial intensity is I omega. At thickness 0, we will write I omega 0. Now, combining these two factors, decrease in intensity d I omega at a particular frequency. Decrease in the intensity, therefore I will write here negative sign. Now, this will be proportional to incident intensity and the thickness. Now, removing this sign, proportionality sign, I will write here absorption coefficient. Now, a little simplification that will lead you this much. Now, integrating both sides, what will we get? This is integration simple, log I omega, and this is dz, and limits will be intensity at thickness 0 and the thickness z. This is I omega initial value and final value. And in this side, alpha omega dz, initial thickness let us say 0, final is z. Now, we know that dx upon x integration is log of x, then it is log of I omega 0 and I omega z. Alpha omega is constant for a particular frequency, and this alpha omega also, where this alpha omega is the absorption coefficient. Now, this will be equals to alpha omega will come out, and z minus 0 is z. Now, log of I omega z minus log of I omega 0 is equals to, now this here is negative sign, here will be negative sign. This negative sign I am taking to the right hand side, it will be negative of alpha omega z, and I will write here log of I omega z upon I omega 0, it will be equals to negative of alpha omega z, and later log in the right hand side will turn into the exponential, and we will get I omega z is equals to I omega 0 e raised to the power exponential negative of alpha omega z. What is this? This is the intensity of incident light. This is the intensity of light after covering a distance z. We have seen that I omega z is not equal to I omega 0. These are not equal. There is decrease in intensity. That decrease is equals to e raised to a negative of alpha omega z. Now, it means that intensity at this point is decreasing exponentially with the thickness. is this side is thickness and this side is I omega. Means intensity with distance is decreasing exponentially. Now this is the one result. You have to remember this, that intensity is decreasing at the rate of exponential decay. Now in the output from a laser beam, we have studied in the last lecture that output from a laser light is coherent, monochromatic, that is single wavelength. Now one thing is also you have to remember that the output from a laser light is considered some broadening in the, there is some spread in the frequency. That spread is also known as the broadening of light waves. Now that spread represents that instead of particular frequency omega, there is some change in the frequency. That change is also very, very small as compared to ordinary light, but we will consider this spread. Now let's consider a beam of light. I am erasing this. Consider a beam of light. Is beam of light having spread in the frequency range. Now we will consider spread in the frequency range. Consider a beam of light having frequency range omega to omega plus d omega is traveling along z direction, is allowed to pass through an absorbing medium of thickness dz. Now that decrease in frequency, not the decrease in intensity, sorry. Now we know that after passing through the absorbing medium, its intensity will decrease. Now the decrease in intensity will be proportional to first factor. First factor will be same, thickness of the absorbing medium. Thickness of absorbing medium. Second factor will be the intensity of incident light. Now there will be third factor. There is spread in the frequency range. We have considered light having frequency from omega to omega plus d omega. Now third factor will be the proportional to the frequency range of incident light. Now thickness of the absorbing medium, let us say it is the dz. We have considered this thickness to be dz. And intensity of incident light is I omega. And frequency range of incident light is d omega. Okay. Now combining all these factors together. There is decrease in intensity, that is di. Now it is depending on the frequency, we will take here di omega. It is proportional to, first factor is thickness, intensity, and I have combined all these three factors together. Now again removing the sign proportionality, we will take here alpha omega, that is absorption coefficient, I omega dz d omega, negative of d I omega. Now integrating both sides. What will we get? When we integrate it, we will get negative of di. Why? This is omega at a particular frequency, and this is for the whole range of the frequencies. When we integrate it, we will get the change in decrease in intensity for the whole range of the frequencies, and this will be equals to integration of alpha omega I omega dz d omega. Now variation is with the, we have taken here integrator left hand side with respect to the frequency, and this side we also have to integrate with respect to the frequency, and this intensity of incident light is constant, and this absorption coefficient is depending on the frequency. Therefore we will take out from the integration intensity of incident light and the thickness, which are the fixed. That is, we will get I omega dz integration of alpha omega d omega. Now the intensity of incident light, this is the intensity of incident light is related, we know that intensity of incident light is related to the energy density by relation. What is the relation? That intensity is equals to energy density multiplied by the velocity with which it is traveling. Now we know that refractive index of the medium, index of medium is equals to n is equals to velocity of light in vacuum to the velocity of light in medium. This implies that velocity will be equals to c upon n. This implies that I omega is equals to c upon n u omega. Now substitute this value here in the above relation. I will take this equation as first equation and this equation as the second equation. Substitute this value in the second equation. What will we get? That negative of di is equals to c upon n u omega dz integration of alpha omega d omega. Now the topic is kinematics of optical absorption. We have to find out the value of the absorption coefficient. This is your result, but we have not get the value of here alpha omega. Now this we will consider this relation third, this equation third equation. Now we know that decrease in intensity. What does it mean? That when there is absorption and emission, the change in intensity will be the decrease in intensity. We have to calculate that one. No, there are two processes. One is the absorption and second one is the emission. In the absorption process, an atom is absorbed. This is, let us say, before absorption. And this is after. Let us say this is before absorption, atom is in the ground state. Now after absorption, now in the laser action we always consider the stimulator absorption and stimulator emission. I will write here stimulator. We will erase this. Stimulator absorption and this is stimulator absorption, and in stimulator absorption before absorption, this is the case. Stimulator, we have supplied an external photon and this photon will be absorbed by this and this photon will go to this. And in the stimulated emission, this is the before emission case, that atom is in the excited state. This we will take E1, E2, E1, E2. This is again E1, E2, E1, E2. In the stimulated emission, we will supply external photon, and in the, this is before emission, and this is the after emission. After emission, what will happen? This atom will come down to the ground state with the emission of one photon, and the one photon is the incident photon. We will get two photons. These two photons will constructively interfere with each other, that give rise to the laser action. We need light amplification, but due to their constructive interference pattern, there is the amplification in the laser light. Now, in this case, rate of, now we have to find out the decrease in intensity, that is absorption, rate of absorption minus rate of emission will give you the decrease in intensity. Now, rate of stimulated absorption will be proportional to, it will depend on how many factors. First factor is the number of atom in the ground state. Second factor is the energy of the incident photon. It is h nu. I have written it. We know that it is equals to h equal to omega, divide and multiply by 2 pi. Now also it will be proportional to the thickness of the absorbing medium, and also it will be proportional to the energy density. On these two factors, rate of stimulated absorption will depend. Number of atoms in the ground state, energy of incident photon, energy density, and the thickness of the absorbing medium. Now combining all these three factors together, four factors, it is proportional to N1 U omega h cut omega d z. Proportionality sign. When we remove this sign, stimulated absorption, I have told you that for the absorption and for the stimulator, we will write alphabet B. Absorption means atom is going from 1 to 2. We will write here 1 to 2 N1 U omega h cut omega d z. And in the same manner, rate of stimulated emission will depend on number of atoms in the excited state, energy of incident photon, energy density, and the thickness of the absorbing medium. Combining all these three factors together, rate of stimulated emission is proportional to N2 h cut omega U omega dz. Again, this sign will be removed by stimulated word. B, emission 2 to 1, atom is going from 2 to 1, 2 to 1 and 2 h cut omega U omega dz, where B12 and B21 are the Einstein coefficients. Now, decrease in intensity. What is the decrease in intensity? The decrease in intensity is the absorption minus emission. This is the net change in the intensity, as absorption is not equal to emission. Now, this decrease in intensity will be equal to rate of stimulated emission minus rate of absorption minus emission. Now, substituting both these values, we will get B12 N1 U omega h cut omega dz minus of B21 N2 h cut omega U omega dz. Taking the common, U omega will be common, h cut omega and dz, and we are left with B12 N1 minus of B21 N2. Now, if I compare these two, now before comparing, I will simplify it little more, taking B12 N1 common and B21 N2 upon B12 N1. Now, comparing from this is the question number 3rd, we will take it to question number 4. Now, comparing question 3rd and 4th. Comparing equation 3rd and 4th. Equating these two terms, we have to find out the value of this absorption coefficient. We will get C upon N omega Z dz integration of alpha omega d omega will be equals to U omega h cut omega dz B12 N1 1 minus of B21 N2 upon B12 N1. Now, only U omega will be cancelled, dz will also be cancelled, and we are left with integration of alpha omega d omega will be equals to N upon C h cut omega B12 N1 1 minus of B21 N2 upon B12 N1. Now, substitute the value. Now we will substitute the values of these Einstein coefficient and we will get the final result of this absorption coefficient. And now in the last lecture we have studied the ratio of the Einstein coefficient. What is the value? Now we know that the ratio of the Einstein coefficients B12 is equals to B1 only in the case when there is non-degenerate states. But if there is the degeneracy of the energy level, then B12 G1 is equals to B21 G2. This implies that B21 upon B12. We have to find out the value of this B21 upon B12 and the B12. B21 upon B12 will be equals to G1 upon G2, and next is B12. B12 will be equals to G2 upon G1 B21. This is right. B12 is equals to G2 B21 upon G1. This value is this. Now again there is coefficient B. We have to eliminate all the Einstein coefficients. Now we know that another relation was A21 upon B21 and its value is h cut omega cube upon pi square CQ. This we have derived in the last lecture. Now we will find out the value from here. B21 is equals to this pi square C cube upon h cut omega cube A21. Now we will substitute this value here and we will get the value B12. We will substitute here, then we will get the final result. Implies that B12 is equals to G2 upon G1. B12 is this pi square C cube upon h cut omega cube A21. Now substitute B12 value here. Your result is alpha omega d omega is equals to n upon C h cut omega. N1 is again, now B12 is this much. Write here G2 upon G1 pi square C cube upon h cut omega cube A21 into 1 minus B21 upon B12 is this much G1 upon G2 and 2 upon N1. If there is n term we can cancel. C square h cut will be cancelled with h cut, omega will be cancelled with omega square, and the final result is alpha omega d omega is equals to n G2 upon G1 pi square C square upon omega square. This C is cancelled with this omega cancel. A21, this is also N1, and 1 minus G1 upon G2 and 2 upon N1. This is our required result. This relation connect this is the required Landenberg's formula. This relation connects the value of absorption coefficient and the difference in the population inversion. This is a very important result. This relation connects the value of absorption coefficient and population difference between two energy levels. This is very important result.
Action.
The next topic is the threshold condition for the laser action, also known as the shallow down conditions. We know that in a laser there is an active medium which is placed between two mirrors forming the resonant cavity. In laser system, we know that there is active medium which is placed in between two mirrors. Let us say this is mirror M1, this is mirror M2. This hole is the resonant cavity or optical resonator. This mirror M1 is the fully reflecting and this mirror M2 is the partially reflecting. The laser output we get from this partially reflecting mirror. This fully reflecting mirror has, let us say, reflection coefficient R1. It is 100% reflecting. And this partially reflecting, it is 90% reflecting and 10% is the transmitting. Means due to this transmitting 10% transmitting region, we will get the laser output due to this transmission. Now, we know that for the laser action to take place, the necessary condition that is that there should be N2 should be greater than N1, that is in population inversion. In upper level, number of atoms should be greater than the lower level. Only then there will be the population inversion, then there is the stimulated emission. This is the condition for the laser action to take place. But only this condition is not enough for the laser action to take place. There is one more condition, even two more conditions. One is the resonance condition and other is the threshold condition. Only N2 greater than N1 is not enough for laser action to take place. Now, in the laser, we know that there is amplification in the signal. In stimulated emission, this is the condition for population inversion, that is the stimulated emission. In stimulated emission, we know that in stimulated emission, there is a emission of two number of photons. When these these photons will interfere constructively, only then there is amplification in the signal. Now, the condition for constructive interference of the light beam is that P lambda should be equals to 2NL, where P is the integer, lambda is the wavelength of light used, N is the refractive index of the medium, and L is the length of optical cavity. Now, from this we can easily find that P lambda is, we know that velocity of light is equals to nu lambda. From here lambda is C by nu. Nu is the frequency. We know that from here you can write lambda is equals to C by nu. C upon nu is equals to 2NL. Now, dividing both sides by 2 pi. 2 pi nu will be equals to 2NL upon 2 pi. 2 will be cancelled with 2, and here we will get PC is equals to 2 pi nu is equals to angular frequency omega NL upon pi. Now here we will get that omega is equals to cross multiply PC pi upon NL. This is the resonance condition. This is the resonance condition. For the laser action to take place. Now we know that this is the condition for the constructive interference of the laser light. Now, only this condition is not enough. Next condition is when to start the laser light. That is the threshold condition. Now we will find the condition for the start of laser oscillations, that is known as the threshold condition. We know that when when light pass through a medium, its intensity will get reduced, and that reduces the exponential. We have seen in the last article. If here is intensity I omega 0 and we are passing it through a thickness of material, thickness of Z, absorbing medium thickness Z, then there is intensity I omega Z will decay exponentially. Now, in the mathematics we can write it as I omega 0 e raised to negative of alpha omega Z. We have derived this relation. Now, from here, this is the output intensity and this is the incident intensity of incident light, and that this is the decreasing factor. What this relation tells us that intensity of output light is decreasing, but in the laser we should have output intensity should be more than the input intensity, that I omega Z should be greater than I omega 0, but from here you can easily see that this is less than this, output intensity is less than the input intensity. Now for the laser action, that is there is the amplification in the signal, this factor should be positive, only then this thing will be greater than I omega 0. This is simple mathematics. Now, as we know that in laser light there is amplification in the signal. But from here you can see that this is decreasing, and this relation is for light, and this relation will also be applicable in the laser light. Now, if we want that there should be amplification in the signal, then this term should be positive. This term will be positive. Z is constant fixed, it will be Z. Now if this thing should be positive, the condition is that alpha omega should be negative. If alpha omega will be negative, then negative positive, and this term will become greater than 1. Now if alpha, this means that if alpha omega is negative, then there is amplification in the signal. Now we will that alpha omega is negative. Now we will write above relation as I omega 0 e raised to the power alpha omega Z. I have written magnitude sign, as alpha omega is negative, this modulus will be always be positive. Now this I omega Z will be greater than I omega 0. There is now amplification in the signal. Now in the we have considered the length of resonator cavity L. Let us say length of this hole is the optical resonator. Now for one round trip of the light is reflecting from here and here, light is moving toward forward and the backward. For one complete round, the distance covered will be if this is L, then distance covered will be 2L, then Z will be 2L. For one complete oscillation or you can say for one complete round, that is going back and forth, the distance covered will be Z is equals to 2L, L plus L. Then I omega Z is equals to I omega 0 e raised to power alpha omega into 2L. Now this is the intensity of the light for one beam of light, for one photon. Now there are two mirrors. Mirrors have some reflection coefficient. I have taken R1 for mirror M1 and let us say R2 is for mirror M2. Now when light hit on this mirror, there is some loss in the light. There is also due to collision, you can say. Now due to these two mirrors, the intensity of light will somehow reduced, although it is reduced by a small factor, but we will consider it. Now if let us say if R1 and R2 are the reflection coefficients of mirrors M1 m1 and m2. Then intensity of light, intensity of outgoing light will be reduced by a factor of combining these two R1 and R2, and that R1 R2 is equals to e raised to 1 negative of 2 gamma. Negative because there is decrease in the intensity, 2 because there is 1 plus 1, 2 round going back and forth. Gamma is a constant. Now by this factor, this intensity of light will get reduced. This intensity, reduction in the intensity of light is due to thickness, and this reduction is due to the collision, due to the strike of the beam on these two mirrors, due to the reflection coefficients. Now the resultant intensity will be combining these two factors together, that is I omega, the resultant intensity, taking this factor also into the consideration with this. I omega 0 will be equal to e raised to power alpha omega 2L minus of 2 gamma. Taking 2 common, now the condition for we want the sustained oscillations, sustained laser oscillation. Now the condition for this is that this should be greater than or equal to 1. Now, for sustained laser oscillations, the condition is that this should be greater than equal to 1, this term should be greater than or equal to 1, or this term should be greater than or equal to 1. Only if this term will be greater than or equal to 1, only then this output intensity will be greater than this I omega 0. Now for the condition for sustained laser oscillations is e raised to 2 alpha omega minus L should be greater than or equal to 1. 1 can be written as e raised to power 0, or e raised to 2 alpha omega minus L should be greater than or equal to e raised to power 0, means this term should be greater than or equal to 0. It means that 2 alpha omega minus L, this term should be greater than or equal to 0, or I have written this one mistake. There is omega L minus of gamma. This is omega L minus gamma. Omega L minus of gamma. This is gamma. The condition is now equating this omega L minus gamma. This should be greater than or equal to 0. That is I omega L should be equals to greater than or equal to gamma. Now I omega L is equals to gamma is this is the threshold condition. That is I omega should be equals to gamma by L. This is your threshold condition. Now in the last article, kinematics of optical absorption, we have find out the value of absorption coefficient, and that value of absorption coefficient is, if I take its magnitude, it is equals to pi square c square upon omega square n A21 G2 upon G1, and here was G1 upon G2 N2 minus of N1. This was your result. This was your final expression of the Fugger-Landerberg formula, that is G omega. You have to remember this formula, although it is very complicated, but you have to remember this formula. Now in that formula there was alpha omega d omega. Now if I integrate it, I will get alpha omega and the factor containing the omega. That factor I have written G omega. Now this is case for the degenerate cases having degeneracies G1 and G2. For non-degenerate states, or cases, G1 is equals to G2. Now G1, G2 will be cancelled and we are left with, and alpha omega is equals to gamma by L. Substitute the value of alpha omega also. Gamma by L is equals to pi square C square upon omega square and A21 G2 upon G1. Sorry, G1 is equals to G2, then there is no need to write it, and 2 minus of N1 into G omega. Now from here you can find out the difference in the populations. N2 minus N1 will be equals to gamma omega square is equals to L pi square C square and A21 G omega. Now gamma was all these factors, you know, gamma is the constant we have introduced by ourselves. Therefore we have to eliminate this constant gamma. For this, now next, let us say N naught is the number of atoms that are incident initially. N naught is the number of photons, or number of photons incident initially. That is at time t is equals to 0. And N is the number of photons. There is also reduction in the intensity of light. Let us say N is the number of photons after some time. Let us say t. Now we know that there is a reduction in the intensity, and that reduction was R1 R2 e raised to the power negative of 2 gamma. Now let us say N naught is the number of photons, then their energy will be N naught h cut omega, and there after some time energy will be N h cut omega. Now these two will be related to each other. N h cut omega after some time, initially e raised to negative of 2 gamma m. From here initially into e raised to negative 2 gamma m. Now h cut omega will be cancelled with this. Now we are left with N is equals to N naught e raised to negative of 2 gamma m. Now let us say t, let us say consider t dash is the time to complete one round, that is going back and forward. That t dash is the time to complete one round and back rotation. Front. And t is the time after m complete rotations, you can say, or movements. That is for one turn going forward and backward, time is t dash, and after m completing such rotations, time is, let us say, t. Now t is the time for m rotation, then t will be equals to m into rotation for the one, that is m t dash. Therefore m will be equals to t upon t dash. Thus n is equals to n naught e raised to negative of 2 gamma t upon t dash. Now we will introduce the critical time. The critical time is the time, we will denote it Tc. Critical, always critical word is used when this number reduced to 1 by e, whether it is a number, whether it is intensity. At critical the factor will reduced by 1 by e to its of its original value. Now at critical time Tc, n will be reduced to n naught by E. Then n will be equals to n naught by E is equals to n naught e raised to negative of 2 gamma. Time is critical Tc upon T dash. Little simplification, E will n naught will be cancelled with n naught, and you will get that 2 gamma Tc upon T dash is equals to 1. Now T dash is the time to complete one rotation. Now T dash, time is equals to velocity is equals to distance upon time, and velocity, photons are traveling with the velocity of light. Distance travel is 2L, time is T dash. T dash is the time to complete one rotation, one front and back. Now substitute this value of T dash will be equals to 2L by C. Then 2 gamma Tc, T dash will be equals to 2L upon C is equals to 1. 2 will be cancelled with 2, and from this you can easily find that L is equals to C gamma Tc. Now we have this relation. Let us say this relation is first. Now substitute this value of L in this relation, and 2 minus n1 will be equals to gamma omega square C gamma Tc. L is C gamma Tc, pi square C square, and A21 G omega. Now gamma will be cancelled with gamma, and you are left with n2 minus n1 is equals to omega square upon Tc pi square C cube and A21 G omega. This is your required condition. This is known as the shallow term conditions. Also known as the threshold condition. This is a very important article for the exam.